Hey everyone, welcome back and thank you for taking the time to join me within this daily trade recap. It's Friday. I did not take, well, actually, I did take a new trade just here in the after hour session. Still open. We'll go through that probably to close out today's video. We have a bunch to get through first. It's Friday. Taking it easy. On Friday, typically you see a lot of sell offs, and that is coming to fruition yet again today. We do have some continuation on yesterday's play, WLDS wearables, so that's nice, scaling out a little bit more there. But mostly just kind of watching today, keeping an eye on things. Yesterday, we called the top on open for the week, and we see a hard retracement off of that, which was nice. We'll check in on that as well, as it's a pretty hot topic around the water cooler these days. But we have some other stuff to go through first. Out of the gate, all-time high. Why wouldn't it be? Just another day in paradise for the broader market as a whole. Continuing to click up. We have our interest rate decision next week. It looks like a for sure drop, but maybe a little bit more of a drop than we expect. We just go to Fed Watch here. Check that out. 4 days, 20 hours. And 96% of an ease, but 3.6 of a little bit of a greater ease, right? Going down to that 400, 425 mark, but potentially a very small potential, of course, the 375, 400. Aside from that, does the market retrace at this point? We've been, just going up every single day in anticipation of that. It can't go forever, can it? And you would think, with the market being forward-looking and we see the rate cuts almost a sure thing, the market up in anticipation of that. However, at some point it's got to pull back before it goes for real, right? So that's what we have for the S&P 500. As far as small caps today, VSTD, we have a name change on this. What was this name? Yosh or something before. So that's really good. We like OTC uplisters, name changes, post reverse split, right? Are a couple of the things that we like as far as an attribute to a stock to play. It does drive price sometimes in a parabolic fashion. It just is what it is, right? It's a pattern. So not only do we have the name change, but we also have post reverse split and post earnings, which was in theme recently. So pretty cool stuff here. Not playing it, of course, but gets the news, dies down, reclaims VWAP. So the reclaim of VWAP here is pretty gross. But once we start to get these candles opening and closing above VWAP, right? Like there's a bunch of them here. Like this, it's kind of messy here, right? But once we get this batch of candles consolidating in an upward trend, that's where it's really good. You could put your stop loss below that swing low or pullback in the morning and just scalp it up. We didn't get this. This was early in the morning. This was like 2:30 in the morning my time. We would have been entering it at 3 in the morning. I slept till like 5:30 today. So we're a little bit later than we would have liked to be there. Maybe I didn't sleep that late, but it was not this early. So this is what your entry would have been like somewhere here. Your stop loss below that pullback. Your entry anywhere here, right? Let's say you get a mid entry and easy 1-to-1, easy 2-to-1, easy 3-to-1, and even a 4-to-1 trade here. Off of an entry model that we can repeat and duplicate while simultaneously managing our risk to get hit rate. Because obviously not every single one of them works out, but the broad majority of them working out, and the ones that don't are capped at a specific loss, right? So as long as you're above, say 50% hit rate, you're going to walk out ahead, and then build that up to 60%, maybe 70%, right? And go from there. So that's VSTD, our first play of the day. It did die down. What was this run from our entry model? 141% potentially if you did take even a mediocre entry, right? You could have had Far better entry here, but potentially an amazing play. Just happened a little early on in the day for me. GCTK up next. And, what an absolute monster this was this morning. Again, this is starting at 3 in the morning, gets its first pop at before 4, and, it's really done running by 5 a.m. already. So very early morning today. And sometimes on Fridays, that's what you see. People get in, get it done, and then they're on their way for the rest of the day. So they're going to participate in a virtual investor summit. That has got to be the most fluff news I've ever heard, but we follow the volume. It's enough to get it going on a Friday where nothing else is happening right now. If this happened on a day where there was maybe something more substantial, it would probably get pushed under the rug, right? However, news pop, VWAP breakdown, trend retest, VWAP reclaim. It's kind of choppy here, but when it does hit, like even, I guess, in this section of candles, but that's like almost a false breakout. I guess, it's a little choppy. It's pretty gross. You can identify the 50 exponential moving average here as support. And again, here is where it holds, right? So I think that is where you'd want to enter this, is you see this chop happening in the morning, but you see, hard support here, right? Like a massive green candle up from that. And then when it comes here again and starts to hold it, that's when you're like, oh, this was support earlier. It's now also acting as support here. And then you wait until you get your VWAP reclaim, trend retest, and then you could probably just put your stop under the 50, right? If not under this low here. So I think somewhere here would have been really good entries off of the 50 moving average and a VWAP reclaim, having noted that it was substantial support earlier on in the morning, right? Because this isn't a clean volume pop, VWAP breakdown, reclaim and go. Like, this is super choppy here, right? Like, that's not great. But eventually, the chop did give way a little bit, and you were able to stair step up, bleeding down, reclaiming almost high of days, pre-market high. That's typically a massive spot of resistance. In the morning, you could have played this as well. We have a reversal signal, key level breakouts. If you took this early, it would have been pretty gross. You want to have a candle open and close above. This one here would have been our false entry. And it just gets blasted down. So I don't think that would have been great because it's basically a VWAP rejection that can't seem to hold. Well, you do get it again later into a gap up, and maybe you can play a gap fill strategy here. Just trying to find an appropriate entry model. But it breaks through the gap immediately, so this is kind of invalidated. I don't really care for it. You'd have to wait till you get a candle again opening and closing above here, which means you're probably entering on the candle after, right? And then your stop is below the gap, and then you still need to get a 1-to-1, which you do, but pretty messy, pretty high risk because it's already so high up. But when we have our gap fill strategy, we like to enter in the gap with a stop below it, which you probably would have been stopped out here if that's immediately what you went to, but it's not a gap we would have re-entered in because it just sliced right through, just invalidating it right out of the gate. So you need to have it reclaim, which it kind of does here, but again, breaks down. So maybe you would have got burned here with a stop loss below the gap, having to replay it later just to kind of wash the trade. So, nothing great here. There's nothing really good. I think if we would have played this, we would have been kind of burned. Unless you entered on the reversal signal prematurely. You're like, I don't need a key level breakout. And then you scaled out at VWAP. Your runners had entry. And then, you had your runners scale out here. Non-confirmation ad, not the way I like to play. I don't think I would have taken that trade, specifically on Friday. Also on the gap down, maybe like on the reclaim of the gap down, and then it holds that gap here and then reclaims. Okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense. So we gap down right in the morning, retest it and reject, but then we break through, and then we're turning resistance here into support here, and it holds. And that's where we get this nice run up of, upwards consolidation. And, then it gaps up into a halt. And then you get all the sell off here. So it would have been this gap down and reclaim in the morning that we would have liked to play. Trying to be patient to see if the gap can hold here, and then entering somewhere here, even a little bit later here potentially. But it's so easy to break this. Some of the trades that you don't take down in hindsight, this is a perfect entry model, but I think still worth the time to sit through and look for those entry models so you can identify them in the future, right? AGAE we can move on to. And this was announcing a strategic investment into Bitcoin and Ethereum, which has been kind of a hot topic. Immediately from $1 up to 220, like that's crazy, and then right up to 280 after that. That's like 300%. So not great. Is that 300 or 2%? My math is always so bad. 200, sorry, yeah. At least I caught myself. Then it breaks down on VWAP, consolidates underneath, reclaims, but it doesn't go anywhere. And that's, I say I don't like to play on Friday because there's lots of sell-offs. No one's willing to sit through the whole day. It's pump and dumps, or like a nice move and then it just sells off. It is what it is. It's Friday, and that's why I don't take a lot of plays, because typically you get a break. VWAP breakdown, trend, hold, and consolidation. Then it reclaims. That's where you'd want to take entries, right? And then you push up for more, test for pre-market high, and go from there to new high day. But on Fridays, it just doesn't happen a lot, right? So really taking it easy on Fridays, and something that you could do for yourself as well. VMEO. Sometimes on that note, Fridays old man plays with a larger market cap in the billions instead of the low floats. We see the news. I watch it. I don't like mergers a lot, but sometimes we watch them. It doesn't move at all, right? Not moving. 1.38 billion. Market cap's 1.2. I guess it's pre-baked in. What happened the other day on the 10th? We should look that up. I think this must have been it. 2 days ago. Did I not put that there? Maybe it got moved down somewhere. I think I mentioned that this was 2 days ago. Anyways, delayed news, right? On the scanner again today. There's no liquidity here. Like, this is like, that's why there's just no structure, right? This is the epitome of no structure. Like, there is just nothing to even look at here, right? A toothbrush, whale teeth, it's not good. It's really, really bad. But it had, it came on the scanner for some reason. Daily average 4.17, current day 1.2. And then we watch it because it's on the scanner. We watch it. It's got the billion word in it, but I'm literally going to delete that. WLDS. That's not even worth talking about. Continuation from the other day, right? Ooh, there's that. This was in last night's video, right? Where we're just kind of sitting through it here. It wasn't doing anything. We do get out of that this morning at a 3-to-1, and then we also reclaim 4-to-1 if you got your fill. If you didn't get a fill, you're probably still in it, unless you got an early fill here because you didn't get your original fill. Sometimes it's worth chasing downwards. If not, you're still sitting in it on that 4-to-1. But looking, for that last little bit, to get our full 5-to-1. Surprising to me that this is holding trend. At this point, we can probably go out to the 15 minutes and kind of identify like a longer term trend line. Right? Something like this. Maybe even we ignore the wicks and just focus on the body. We can even do the 30-minute. Yeah, I think the 30-minute trend line is going to be the cleanest for us, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 support. So if we broke trend here, you could close out your runners, I guess, right? Call it good, or just use the 50, right? Because that's still going to be above your entry. Just use the 50 on the 30-minute for your trailing stop loss if you needed. And then, of course, this level, this trend line is going to translate for us on our other time period, which we appreciate. Yeah, so holding this was day 2 continuation. So NN did not have news, but chucked up all day. Like, this was impressive, 50% runner. Market cap 20 million, perfect. Average day 30. Volume is 6.5 or 0.65 million, and the current day volume is above that. It's not great, but it's like someone knows something, right? Someone was preloading this because there's no news on this. So let's wait for next week to see what the news is. Things like that happen, right? More times than not. Someone always knows. And then I'm scared to look. Oh, no, I'm not. Beautiful play. So take your scale out here. We were in this earlier. I mentioned it at the start of the video that we'd wrap up with it. Here we are. We have a Form 6K, so merger with this other company. Ownership's going to be split 90-10. Shareholders vote on the 17th. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So we get our 1-to-1. And, then we can kind of look to scale out our runners at 2 mark here and potentially go 3, 4, 5. That's the name of the game. So we'll check in on this tomorrow's video. That was CHEK Cap Limited that we're playing this evening here. So a pretty decent day. Oh, don't forget to put your scale out. Yes. And yeah, we'll try to get a fill on that 2-to-1 and see where this lands tomorrow. Maybe we get a gap up. I don't really know. Leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. If there's anything you'd like for me to incorporate in our daily review process, because this is very much just like a journaling process for myself, to make sure that I am going back, reflecting on the trades, what went right, what went wrong, and how can I improve, right? And then, why not share that process with all of you? And yeah, thank you so much. Check out the GameStop video as well as my Magic the Gathering videos on Hello Good Game, a separate channel. And yeah, just have a magical evening, a day, wherever you happen to be. And I'll see you soon tomorrow.